Hi, I'm Moth, and a little over a year ago, I uploaded a video called Making My Dream Game, Blood Crisis Devlog number 1. But that was at the tail end of 2022, which in YouTube years might as well mean that I fucking died. But thankfully, I am still here, I'm still making my video game, and I don't plan on stopping. If you want to stay updated outside of YouTube, I have an official Discord server, I stream development every Thursday on Twitch, and even though they're not in video form, I post monthly devlogs over on this website that are public and free for anyone to read. But I know the question that's on a lot of your minds. Why did it take so long to make another video? And, the answer to that question has a lot of layers, so if you don't care and just want to hear about development stuff, feel free to skip ahead to the next chapter of this video. But basically, I have a full-time job as a character modeler, and I put all of my free time into Blood Crisis, so making YouTube videos just hasn't been at the top of my priority list. That's not to say that I haven't worked on any, though. I actually did write, record, edit, and then scrap like 4 different videos before this one. Why, you may ask? Well, because they were all bad. This may sound kind of corny, but I hold myself and the work that I produce to a pretty high standard, and I was happy with Devlog number 1, both because the stakes were extremely low, and because it was largely about art, something I do professionally and consider myself qualified to talk about. Game dev and programming, on the other hand, are not. I'm still relatively new to a lot of this stuff, and because of that, most of my prior attempts to make this video fell flat. See, when I started developing this game, I had basically zero programming or coding experience, and when I released Devlog number 1, I never thought anyone but my friends and family would see it, because my channel only had like 5 subscribers. I now have over 12,000, which is incredible, and if I'm being totally honest, sorta terrifying at the same time. The internet is an increasingly hostile place, and YouTube is no exception. It is unbelievably cool to me how many people are excited about my game and ideas, and I'm infinitely grateful to everyone who's shown interest in the project, but that being said, it also makes it way harder to talk about things that I'm working on. As it turns out, making a video game involves a lot of shit that looks and sounds super boring. There's a line in Devlog number 1 where I emphasize the importance of building a strong foundation to create your game on top of, and this is what I've been spending most of my time doing. Building a fundamental system, integrating it into my codebase, and then testing the hell out of it to make sure it's functional and cooperates with other systems. If I'm being honest, it's actually taken a ridiculous amount of self-control not to immediately jump into things that are flashy and make for good YouTube content. With an audience comes the weight of expectations, and the last thing I want is to show you guys something really cool only to have to scrap it later. Speaking of which, you may remember this joke from Devlog number 1. Now, there's nothing wrong with making an open-world RPG with base building and a crafting system and procedurally generated dungeons and loot and weapons and a day and night cycle and a morality mechanic and a companion system. Which I immediately follow up with, Blood Crisis actually has 2 protagonists. So, that being said, yeah, I'm cutting Vel's campaign. It just isn't feasible for a solo project, and I'd rather have a cut-down, shipped game than one where I make no concessions but am stuck developing it forever. It wasn't an easy decision, and it's the exact kind of thing I'm talking about when I say that I'm hesitant to share stuff with you guys via devlogs. So much about the game has changed since that first video, and I can guarantee that if I had released more devlogs between now and then, there would also be way more stuff I had to announce I was scrapping, and I'm pretty sure nobody wants that. This has been a lot of words to basically say, look, I am working on the game, I do not plan on quitting, and the reason news has been slow is that I've been doing important backend stuff to build the foundation for Blood Crisis's code. Not really much of a point implementing a bunch of new content if the core systems are inconsistent, buggy, and feel bad to engage with. If I did, then making major improvements to the base mechanics could break all the content that was designed around an older, worse system. But this doesn't mean that I haven't been working on these things, though. When I'm not coding, I'm usually either making and animating characters or working on writing the story. And even though I can't share too much about them because of spoiler reasons, these are some of the characters that I've been writing and developing over the past year, and I'm really excited to start showing them off more. As you've probably noticed, I've been developing the setting for Blood Crisis as well. I still have a lot to learn when it comes to creating levels and environments, but I'm liking the direction my art style has been heading, and I'm excited to make more areas soon. But the one thing I've been working on more than anything else, without a doubt, is the combat. The whole reason I started making this game was because I wanted to build on the underexplored mechanics of Kingdom Hearts 2, and recreating its game feel is not nearly as simple a task as one might think. This topic could be its whole own entire video, but the systems behind hitting a guy in a video game are way more complex and intricate than they might seem on the surface. Making it feel good to hit a guy with a sword is almost like an art form in itself, and nailing this aspect is what I've been dedicating the majority of my time to. And, at this point, I actually do think a lot of the work is paid off. There's still a lot to do under the hood, but generally speaking, hitting dudes in Blood Crisis feels pretty good. It might only be a basic ground and air combo at this point, but those are the moves that everything else is built on top of and the player spends the most time with, so I made them my highest priority. And that's basically where Blood Crisis is at. I'm nearing the end of the building the foundations phase, and I'm getting ready to start transitioning into the adding content phase. The building the foundations phase never really stops, from what I've learned, but hopefully soon it will be taking up considerably less development time. What I've shown in this video is the culmination of a year's worth of research, learning, and development, and on the surface, it looks pitiful. A player character, a few attacks, a single enemy, and 1.5 rooms. And that's the unfortunate reality of being a solo developer. A week's worth of visual dev can look like a huge leap forward, while months of back-end development are practically invisible to anyone but me. And honestly, I'm alright with that. I have a lot of fun coding. I might not be able to make interesting videos about it yet, but if there's one thing I want people to take away from this, it's that if you have the desire and the ability, you can just make your own dream game. Just know this. It's a lot of work, and a lot of that work will go unnoticed. And if you're okay with that, then go for it. Before I end this video, I would like to thank all of my amazing patrons who have made this project possible in the first place, because without them, I would not be nearly as far along in development. The fact that I've been able to take even just a few hours out of my work week to develop Blood Crisis is so unbelievably cool to me, and I cannot thank enough every single person who's shown even a tiny bit of interest in this project. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, or desperately want me to develop faster, please consider becoming a patron yourself, or commissioning me to make something for you. Or, if philanthropy is more your thing, please donate to my girlfriend Sadie's healthcare fund. She needs a new kidney, her old one is really grody, and anti-stinky kidney medication is very expensive in the United States, so anything helps. With that said, I would like to thank all of my top-tier patrons, specifically Macello, Obese Rob, Pale Wraith, Stella Giovanna, Trial Assassin, VA Star, Zalier, and Zero Soon Game, along with any and everyone else who has contributed to the project so far. Thank you all so much, and I will see you next time. Bye!